3, 2, 1. Hello, welcome to episode 2 even, numero dos of the vinyl countdown.
Could we do a Mexican wave? How could we do that?
Almost got. It needs to go backwards, though, doesn't it?
Right.
Alright. No.
No, we keep it up.
We keep it up and then you go back down. Yeah.
Right.
Stop putting it back down.
So you need to hold it up.
You need to hold it up till it gets back to
No,
you.
you do go back down. You need to do a double one.
You're
You need to go
up, you're up, I'm up, and then I'm down, you're down, you're down.
Aye.
Right. That's not really. It's not a Mexican wave.
Let's go. Oh, you're right.
But it needs to be quick though, do it quick. No, you stop putting it back down.
Alright. Okay.
Do you come up and you go down? So you're up first and you're down first. So as soon as I'm up, you're down. Right, go.
Welcome
Warlock.
to the second episode. I know we said the first one would be the last of the three of us.
Did we?
Did we?
I think I did. I think I said it would be young people and guests. You wanted it, and we're giving you it. We have 3 more vinyl to talk about. Look at that. Talk about production, stuff about them, track listing, who they are, the artist. Who wants to start? Because I'm not going to.
I'll go.
Craig?
May as well start with arguably the best album of the 3.
That is
Arguably.
arguably.
I have chosen, as you can see, Marquee Moon
You were really far away today.
by Television. Television, one of my favourite bands. Not so much as Marquee Moon is definitely one of my favourite albums of all time. I know that I'm not unique in that, like it's often cited as a
But there's a reason.
A great
There's a
record.
reason
Aye.
for that.
yeah, it's not without merit. But I think Television are a super interesting band anyway, like outside of this record. Actually, an odd thing about Television being considered punk, which when I was a kid I never really understood, because to me, when I was a young gentleman, punk was definitely like the Sex Pistols and the Dead Boys and the Clash. Even the
Stiff.
Clash, I didn't really consider that a punk as much as the Pistols, but Television definitely not. I'd have been like art rock when I was a wee guy, you know. But definitely lumped in with that punk thing, and it might be not without reason, because there is a
It's more than
an
a sound,
ethos.
isn't it? Aye, it's more
Totally.
than punks.
But Television were like the first band outside of the whole country thing to play at CBGBs. So your man that ran CBGBs is well known for not being into like alt rock punk stuff or whatever. And Tom Verlaine, who's a singer in Television, convinced him in the early 70s to let Television play CBGBs, and that would be the thing that really kicked that off as a punk venue. And Talking Heads and Blondie and Ramones, of course, followed. So everyone who runs around wearing CBGB t-shirts partly get Television to thank for that, for starting that movement there. So they first played CBGBs in 1973, I think. So before most of the bands that were playing, but their debut album didn't come until later. It was 1977 this record came out, and this is the first pressing from 1977.
Oh, is
this
it?
version, yeah.
Let's have a look.
Aye. So there's a couple of things in Marquee Moon, obviously it's been reissued, and there's different versions kicking around. This one, going out of the track listing, the actual song Marquee Moon on this original 77 version, it's a 10-minute song. The album's only 43 minutes long, and the song Marquee Moon lasts for 10 minutes. When they reissued, like remastered, and there was like bonus tracks that hadn't been released, the version of Marquee Moon that appears on subsequent issues is 10 minutes and like 40 seconds long, maybe 10 minutes 39 seconds. But an incredible album. And so yeah, the first album that they had done, despite having all those years of playing and kind of, you know, really leading the scene. And the early demos for the record were done by Brian Eno, your wee pal. You're quite fans of Brian Eno.
Quite chatty about him last episode. Check it out.
Tom Verlaine didn't like the demos that Brian Eno had done. I think he said they were like, he felt they were cold. Can't really recall exactly, but he wasn't a fan of the Brian Eno stuff. And when they eventually signed the record deal, part of the deal was that Tom Verlaine, despite having had no experience in the studio, or very, very limited experience, he wanted to be the producer on the record.
Well,
Yeah, so part of the record deal, Tom Verlaine would be a producer on the album. I think it's cool because I think only 2 of the songs on that record came throughout the session. everything else had been playing for like 3 or 4 years. So they knew the heart of the song and they knew what he wanted it to sound like. Because they'd been around for I guess that long time playing CBGBs. And Richard Hell, another really important figure in the punk scene. Richard Hell used to be on television, patched before the album came out, but instrumental in writing some of those songs the early years. But yeah, just an amazing record. I know the kind of the heart of that album definitely is the track Marquee, but for me, the song Venus, Venus de Milo. Almost every of that period and that feeling of music like that, every playlist that I make for any, if it's like a car journey or friends going over, if I'm putting something together, Venus is always on it. I just think it's an incredible song. Everything about the instrumentation is so clever. The guitar work is unbelievable. The vocals really raw, but it's really controlled in it. Like in Venus, there's this cool kind of call and response bit, like kind of gang vocally stuff that I like. Where they sing, did you feel low, and there's this wee shouty back bit, but it's all like super tight and super cool, so it is quite controlled. But yeah, an amazing record. If you haven't heard it, absolutely get in about it. It's an amazing album, and if you don't like it, then
don't tell us.
I'm really gutted for you.
Yay! And we're back. Fire alarm test went off. Let's jump.
There you go.
Yeah, let's jump.
I have picked OK Computer by Radiohead. What an outstanding album. The third album from Radiohead. Pablo Honey, The Bends, and then OK Computer. The Bends obviously got quite a bit of success. At that point, Radiohead still quite a guitar band. Writing guitar songs, guitar-driven melodies, you would say.
Yeah.
Very similar to Pablo Honey. But this album, at the time when it came out, was pretty groundbreaking. I think.
Yeah.
I think it goes down as, I think if you check out any top 10 or top 20 albums of all times, this will probably be right up there as one of them.
On mine.
A real jump for the band in terms of style and recording. With the success of the Bends, the record label actually gave them £100,000 to buy their own equipment
for this record.
Oh,
that's cool.
Which is really cool because that's like every band's dream. Parlophone at the time said to the band, we're going to give you the money up front, go and buy some recording gear. And the band hit up Nigel Godrich, and I think he pretty much assisted them with all the stuff that they needed to buy. And once they had acquired all their equipment, they started recording it in pretty much a shed in their hometown, I think, somewhere local to, I think, Johnny Greenwood's house.
Is that Oxford
somewhere.
from?
I think a lot of the initial recordings were done there, but I think it was a bit haphazard, and I think they didn't really finish any of the tracks. Nigel Godrich was kind of like
to what George Martin was for the
George
Beatles.
Martin was for the Beatles, yeah.
Like Brian Eno was for the Talking Heads.
Or you too.
Yeah, I suppose. Well, Nigel Godrich ended up working with Radiohead for
It's a super
for
close
albums
relationship.
almost. It was they kind of was like the sixth member of the
Totally,
band.
man, yeah.
And Nigel, he wasn't really brought on as a producer originally, but I think after they kind of struggled recording in the shed. I think they had about 4 or 5 songs that they had complete, but they weren't totally finished. And I think it was at that point kind of Nigel Godrich kind of got more of a producer's role. He was obviously kind of helping the band out, but I think he took on a lot more responsibility finishing off this record. They had to stop recording about halfway through because they got a worldwide tour that they went on. So they kind of patched this for a while, and when they came back to it, they decided that they weren't going to go back to the shed because I don't think they didn't have facilities and things like that. So they ended up, I don't know the name of the place that they ended up finishing it off at, but they ended up hiring a big, massive country mansion place.
Much like
And
Zeppelin done.
They moved all their
What was
equipment
it called?
that they bought into this big mansion place because it had accommodation and facilities.
And
like,
damn good reverb in that,
Marilyn
imagine.
Marilyn Mansion.
You know what I
and
mean?
they made use of that.
Definitely my best part ever. Did you hear me?
No, but I should have picked up the camera.
I said Marilyn Mansion. Such a fertile period of recording for that band, though. Eh?
Well, that's what we were just talking about. Like they were on, like Radiohead were on Top of the Pops with their singles from the record, and like do we have Top of the Pops anymore? Is it still a thing?
Is
I
it?
think
Yeah.
it is. Is it not?
I don't know.
It has, or they bring back specials for it. Because
Oh,
I've
Christmas
definitely
and
seen up-to-date artists playing on Top of the Pops, but I don't think it's a regular thing
But
anymore.
what an
Don't
era
mind
of
any
music!
of that.
1997, I think it was
Yeah.
released. What an era for a band to release an album like this, and as I say, it's become one of the most acclaimed albums. This is a reissue, and it has a three
Three-pronged
vinyl.
attack.
Yeah, so I've got a vinyl in here, and I've got a vinyl in here,
You got anyone here?
and we were in there. And this reissue has
Just
B-sides that they never released.
Ah,
Oh,
it's
it's hot in
roasting.
here. Ah, it's warm in here, right? Ah, it's probably got the heating on.
Well, bend my vinyl.
It's got 3 vinyls in it.
No, it doesn't. It's got
Three vinyl.
It's got 3 vinyl in it.
Since the Bends, they've stuck with the same artist for doing their future records.
I didn't know that.
The video for No Surprises.
It's amazing.
If you've not seen the video for No Surprises, go and check it out.
I was a typewriter. Don't know why I done that.
Fantastic one camera shot scene of Tom York in a fishbowl getting filled up with water.
Yeah, all the
I guess
videos
a
were great.
helmet.
Yeah, it's like a diver's
It's a
helmet
diver's
kind of
helmet.
thing. And you see it being filmed in the Meeting People is Easy video, which I'm sure there must be in DVD now. When I was a wee guy, I had
It's
it on
probably on
video.
YouTube. Not probably
Aye,
stuff on
probably
from
is,
YouTube
aye.
now.
But I think like that record. So Ali and I were in high school, and that was still like quite a big deal. This album. So like when I was in high school, I was insane about this band. This is how I met some of the friends that I still have today. I met because of this album. And it's a really significant record for me. I think it's weird. I never knew they stopped in between to go and tour.
Yeah, it wasn't complete.
Did you think about all the tunes that came from that album? The reason that when they done this reissue and the larger one of the anniversary, there's so many amazing tracks on that came from those sessions that most bands would kill for. Like Lift, that's one of my favourite Radiohead songs, and it's not on the album. I think there's 12 songs on the original record. It's not on it. How crazy that they've written all these amazing songs. Like we were talking about Big Boots, and it became Man of War. And the fact that they had those tunes from those sessions,
And they never get released.
aye, I think there was this. Was Man of War the first time, maybe, but Big Boots was always that live bootleg stuff. But just an incredible period for a really exceptional band.
What year were you born?
1983.
What year were you born?
1982.
Oh, that's not what I was expecting to happen. In 1984, this came out. This is Phil Collins, and this is his 3rd album. Did I make that up? No, this is his 3rd solo album, because you said that was the 3rd album.
Yeah.
3rd solo album by Mr. Phil Collins, No Jacket Required. One of my favourite albums, actually.
I think I've heard it all the way
Got
through.
Cracking album.
Amazing, yeah. It's his biggest, it's kind of his biggest selling album as well. But what's happening? Oh, hello. What's happened there? Old meets young. And if I did that, that's a good. But then I can't talk to you. It probably does. I don't have as much interest in chat. It's just an album that I really love. Reissued, remastered in 2016. Hence the. So brought out all these albums again in remaster and photo shoots, done photo shoots for the new things, so it's just him old.
It's a great idea, I like that.
Yeah,
man.
it's good, isn't
It's
it?
really cool.
And the remaster is killer as well. They sound amazing. I don't know how I first heard Phil Collins. It must have been my mum. Apparently my dad. I don't have any contact with Daddy.
What?
With my daddy. With my dad. I was just trying to be funny. It just turned out creepy. But apparently he was a drummer, actually, my dad, and was a big fan of Phil Collins, so there must have been tapes or stuff just kicking about the house, and I must have listened to them, because I don't think my brother was a fan. My mum's not particularly either.
Yeah.
But just an album I've always loved, ever since I heard Studio. So No Jacket Required is in reference to Phil Collins went to a restaurant in Chicago.
Chicago.
Pizza.
I can't remember the name of the restaurant, but he went with Robert Plant, who was the singer for the Beatles. He's a singer for Led Zeppelin, and Phil Collins was denied entry because he didn't have the correct attire on jacket-wise, and he was wearing a jacket. Can you bring the insert sleeve out again?
Yeah. There's his jacket buttons.
If you turn it around, so basically he was, first world problems, he was really angry about not getting let in because he had the wrong attire on. So the whole marketing for the album was built upon this denial from a restaurant. So he deliberately, in the photo shoots for this, wore a suit that was far too big for him. I know that was kind of rife in the 80s anyway, there was a lot of that kind of style kicking about.
Talking Heads, man.
Aye.
Start making sense. Loves that.
But that's why he done that in the photo shoots. They later did apologise and sent him a sports jacket. The actual restaurant sent him a jacket and apologised for not letting him in.
Could have sent him some food.
It's a really bizarre story. And then he also talked about it in his 2016 autobiography. Like, he's never let it go. And it was in like 1983.
What a cool life though. If that's the one thing that's bothered you through your life, you've done alright.
That and severe back problems.
Aye, well, can't have it all.
So a really interesting thing about Phil Collins, his solo went really dark. And his solo stuff, most of you will know, Phil Collins is widely renowned as, you know, if you're looking like I guess the Rolling Stones or top drumming lists, Phil Collins is placed somewhere, always in these lists. He was the drummer for Genesis. But very interesting, in his solo records favoured electronic programmed drums and drum loops and drum beats, rather than you think just
Big
a great
advocate
drummer
for
would just be trying to show off his
a big advocate
tub
for
thumps.
sampled rototoms and all
Aye,
that.
he was quite big in that. Produced all his own
Right.
albums as well, and in partnership with people that I can't name. Hugh Padham.
Let's Google
You're
it.
not able to see it. Just Google it. You could just do that for this whole video, really, couldn't you? I'm not telling you anything.
Find a good
What's the point?
podcast.
There's some good chat.
What's the point?
Tarzan soundtrack, done that, it's pretty good.
Did he also done a soundtrack for what's the bear? Big Brother? Big Bear?
I've never seen it.
He
Yes.
done that. Remember that? I can't remember the song.
Big Bear. I can't remember the name of the song either.
No, I thought you were going to start singing.
No.
You just said Big Bear.
What did he say that was good? Was it good?
It was in my head. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. That's not it.
Is that Tarzan?
No, it's not that either. I was about to sing "I'm on my way," but that's not either. That's a totally different song. We can cut all this out anyway. Leave a comment if you know the soundtrack that he done for the Brother Bear. It was called.
Brother Bear.
Yeah.
So he done the soundtrack for Brother Bear as well. It's just a 2000 odd, a noughties movie. He's done a few things like that. I just really like him. Always have. I love the production on the album.
Love Phil Collins.
One of my favourite vocalists ever. I think his voice is unbelievable.
And my
In
dad
Genesis.
loved Genesis
Aye.
stuff with Phil Collins.
Massive
Didn't like
Genesis
Peter Gabriel Genesis, but he loved Phil Collins
That's.
Genesis.
I know that seems like a cop out to say that sometimes to the more artsy people, because Peter Gabriel's Genesis was a lot more in that prog vein
Yeah.
than obviously Big Phil, P Diddy. Made it a lot more commercial. Made them a hit machine. They were just bringing out hits after hit after hit.
Can't argue with that.
That greatest hits, Turn It On Again, the 3-discer. That's one to get into if you want to get right into. I've actually got all of Genesis albums on vinyl. It was a toss-up between bringing them down, but I went for this. I was going to say because I know more about it, but I evidently don't.
Don't Lose My Number, however, off that record is an absolute
Killer.
killer. I mean, unbelievable how
Yeah.
good that song is.
Yeah, so the kind of ethos for this, it was his third solo album, and he made a really conscious decision that he noticed he was getting boxed in as just another 80s love ballad solo artist. The first two albums, his first album, Face Value, Within the Year Tonight, was his biggest hit off that.
That first record?
Aye,
That's
yeah.
good.
Can't remember what his second one was, but seriously, or Yes I Must Be Going, or whatever it was, I can't remember the name of it. We're all quite love ballady, so he made a really conscious effort to try and make this one more upbeat and dancey, which most of them are. Only You Know and I Know. Don't Lose My Number, Who Said I Would. Unbelievable tracks. I really recommend giving it a listen. It's not that long of an album either. Oh, love it.
I'm going to listen. I'm going to listen to the whole album.
And I highly recommend, if you're on Spotify or something good like Tidal, if you check out the remastered ones, easy to spot. It's just old Phil from 2016. Check out
Pretty
the
sure you can get
remasters.
pretty sure you can listen to the full quality master on Tidal.
You can, yeah. I think the master qualities are up on it. Well worth a listen. The remaster job's really, really great. It sounded great anyway. Just that, I mean, that typical 80s production, but just sounds incredible.
Reverb for days.
And huge drum sounds, you know.
Hook us up. Missing, Monorail,
Love music, record fair.
Record Fair. Amazing place to build an 80s metal collection. Record Fair, I've got to say.
That's also where I got my Phil Collins. I've got all these original, well, all these the non-remastered ones, and it was record fair. I got them all.
That's right.
Like just in a row, just for that. Yeah, £4 each.
There you go.
Steve. Right. Hope you've enjoyed anything we've had to say. I can't. Yeah.
Should we try the Mexican wave one more time?
Yeah. Let's try it. Mexican.
Oh, yeah, right, hold on.
Right, ready?
Yeah.
Right.
1, 2, 3.
No.
Who's you?
How do I do this? So you start. Do slow motion, right?
Right.
We can speed up in post.
No.
How does it you do it? Right, do we go up and then you do a double and we go
I'm
back
pretty
up?
sure we go at
Right, go
do
at
that,
Uh-huh.
and then Craig does a double at
Right,
the end.
go. Like,
right, ready?
Yeah. And then another one.
You need to do it.
And then it needs to go
you
back.
need to do it really
Yeah,
quickly. Really
if you're
quickly.
looking at
Okay,
right.
ready.
So we're going to make first time.
Right, go.
Right.
Thanks for watching.
I can't have it right.
That's it. Nailed it.